This puts us down into the exact scenario we should be in.
That's very interesting.
The last two options on the table. Dick Cox or Dick Coffee.
We're getting a dick.
Wait, you changed your name to McLovin? McLovin? What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What, are you trying to be an Irish R&B singer?
It doesn't even have a first name. It just says McLovin.
What? What name? What name? Who are you, Seal?
Welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast, coming at you from the Slice on Oak Studios. I am Mayor David Badeaux of the City of Brainerd. With me, as always, is my brother.
It's fucking wrong!
Idiot. Gabe Johnson, save us.
Dave, how are you? You can save us.
Councilman, I appreciate everything about you. It's that time of year.
It's March Madness.
Are you ready for this?
Let's get mad.
Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Name of the Year. So if you have been with us almost since the beginning, I think, we jumped on board with an internet phenomenon called Name of the Year. It was run by a group of guys that started in their dorm room back in 1983. They just took names, actual names, real names from the news, created a bracket during March Madness or whenever, and then went head to head to see who was the Name of the Year. They continued forward from 1983 all the way to 2020 and then stopped doing it.
Just disappeared.
Yeah. No fanfare whatsoever. It just all of a sudden,
Yep.
no more.
They were still talking about doing next year's thing, and then all of a sudden it was just done. So we, on the previous episodes of the podcast in previous years, would actually just follow along and tell people, hey, you should go and vote on these people because these are people we like. We just thought it was a hoot. We loved it. Mm-hmm. They stopped doing it. We said, you know what? This is too good. We cannot let this die. We're going to continue on Name of the Year because it deserves all the glory that it has. So this is not our content. We are 100% stealing this, and we're okay with that.
It's our content. We compiled the list of names.
So a couple years ago when we first did it, we did the double elimination where we took names that they had from previous years and brought them back and did like a best of, thinking, oh, maybe they'll come back next year. Then they didn't. So now we have been scouring the internet, looking for names from the news. And the way we're going to do this is we have 16 individuals, and we are going to throw them out head to head. We'll start off with Gabe. Gabe will throw out a name. I will put up a challenger. Then we will vote between the three of us who we think wins that, and we'll move them on. After we get done with this episode, it is all on the viewers as to who wins. So we'll set it up. We'll get you down to, what is that, Elite 8? We'll get you down to 8 names, but then you, the listener, will vote on various different platforms on the internet. We'll compile them all up together, and we'll get that moving forward in the next couple episodes. But this episode is the 2024 kickoff for Name of the Year. And Gabriel Johnson, you have the first name.
I'm going to go with a soccer player
Okay.
named Jizz Hornkamp.
Well, did he come or what?
So I told these guys that before we started, I had created a tier list. My number one overall pick was Jizz Hornkamp.
That's your one seed?
His name is Hornkamp.
His name is Jizz,
I get that.
spelt Jizz.
He is definitely Jizz. Okay. I got to kind of just do a throwaway one then. Even though I really like this name. I really like this name a lot, but I'm going to throw out Tonka Hemingway. What I like about Tonka, we come from Minnesota. Tonka Trucks from Minnetonka. Should have won the state hockey championship. Choked.
Should have choked in sections.
Choked. But then you were like, yeah, our last name's Hemingway. We should probably class it up a little bit more.
Right. little Tonka Trucks, but also Hemingway.
But also, Football player from the University of South Carolina.
So he leaned into the Tonka more so than the Hemingway.
I think so. So that's it. That's number one. Tonka Hemingway versus Jizz Hornkamp. My vote's Jizz.
You always vote Jizz.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote for Hornkamp.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Gabe.
Excuse me for a second.
So in the first place so far, in number one overall seed, I believe.
It was just the name on the top of my paper.
Of course it was. That's because that's how you operate. I love how you acted like you were reading through them, and then we're like, oh, I'll just go with the first one.
Yeah, what's the first one I wrote down?
Scott, you are up. Let's do, you pick yours, and then Gabe, you'll go against him.
I am going to pick Pilot Inspector Lee.
So Pilot Inspector Lee is Jason Lee's kid. So Jason
Mallrats fame.
Yep, from Mallrats, Jason Lee's kid, who one of the caveats we had from this was that they can't be children. So he's 20 years old, all bets are
He's
off.
adult.
Yeah, your name has seasoned.
I feel like they should reboot My Name is Earl so Jason Lee can make amends to his son for such a terrible name.
Small price to pay for the smiting of one's enemies.
Gabe, you go against him.
Okay, I'm going to go with linebacker from I think Duke, North Carolina, college football player. Memorable factor.
Memorable factor.
Okay, let's get your votes. Starting with Gabe.
I wanted to be the tiebreaker.
Okay, you want to be the tiebreaker. Okay, Scott?
God, I don't know. Memorable factor is such a good name.
It's memorable.
Who is Memorable Factor? He played for Duke?
Linebacker from Duke.
Linebacker. I thought he was
Yep.
a quarterback. If he was a quarterback, it'd be a way better name.
Oh, yeah. Well, you couldn't even remember what he's from or what he does.
Yeah, he's not really all that memorable.
Not that memorable.
Not living up to his name.
No.
And using your whatever the hell you call that, I'm going with Pilot Inspector Lee.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about, but yes. Okay, I'm going.
Since he's not that memorable.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I'm going with Pilot Inspector Lee as well.
Also, Inspector spelled with a K.
Yes.
Well, because you're not that memorable.
Yeah. See you later. Memorable
Unmemorable factor.
Forgettable factor.
Forgettable.
Forgettable factor. All right. In my secondary options here, I'm switching up. I'm not going to do that. I'm going with Dr. Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke.
Oh, man.
I don't believe you.
Oh, I didn't realize Marijuana Pepsi wasn't the full name.
What's the
Marijuana
last
Pepsi is, I believe Pepsi is her middle name, or Marijuana Pepsi is a first name
Okay.
together.
name? What's the last name?
Van
Van
Dyke.
Dyke.
Oh.
Dr. Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke.
Doctor.
Doctor?
Doctor.
She's known for being a doctor. That has nothing to do with her name being marijuana or Pepsi. She's a doctor.
Doctor. Doctor.
I believe it's you.
You
Yes.
want me to throw out another one?
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to throw out. God, how do you even? Oh man, let's go with Bogdan Bogdanovic.
Oh, it's such a good one. I love Bogdan. Bogdan Bogdanovic. Can we just say it right now? I am Russian Guyovich.
Yeah. What did this person do? Bogdan?
Baseball,
Bogdan? No.
basketball for the NBA Hawks.
Yeah, Atlanta Hawks.
MBA. M?
And
Oh,
Yeah,
fourth.
the N,
Okay.
the National Basketball League.
might have an NBA, huh?
All right, so we've
There was an MBB on one of these people.
so we've got Dr. Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke versus Bogdan Bogdanovic.
Oh, man.
Which is why I love this more than anything, is because those are great names for two very different reasons. You had options for what to call your son. Your last name is Bogdanovic.
Yeah.
Bogdan? Bogdan.
I mean, there's got to be some David Davidsons out there.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but that's more. I think,
John Johnson.
I think that was so. Does
I had an uncle that was John Johns.
but
John Johns.
but at least like David Davidson is like, yeah, it's Davidson's son, David.
What is
It's triple D.
the Ovich mean?
You're Russian.
Ah, my mistake.
What does the Bogdan?
He's Bogdan of Russia. That is. Let's go through it. I'm sorry. As much as I love Bogdanovic, I'm going marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke.
Doctor.
Sorry, Doctor.
I honestly think the Van Dyke takes away from the name.
I think it does.
If your name was just Marijuana Pepsi, Dr. Marijuana Pepsi, way better.
I think I agree as well. I think you are correct.
I'm going to go with Bogdanovich.
Are we upsetting?
I like Bogdanovich more,
Okay.
but I think Dr. Marijuana Pepsi has more legs.
Okay.
So I'm going.
Give her to the people.
Yes.
That was close. I actually thought that you were going to go Bogdan for a minute.
What's funny is that in all these names, I wrote down their name and then afterwards just a quick little like, oh, this person was basketball, Alabama, whatever. And for Dr. Marijuana Pepsi, I just wrote Dyke. Oh no, that's the last name. It's not the occupation.
All right. Who we at now? Back to Gabe. Gabe to me.
All right, we'll do a throwback. We've never done this before.
Oh yeah. Okay. So we did allow ourselves one historical name because a name came up in the news as being a historical name from the 1910 census.
From the X account, actual names.
Yes.
So you know it's actual. Lesbo Batman.
Lesbo. Batman.
Born in 1909 in Kansas.
Lesbo Batman might be my favorite name of all time. Lesbo Batman.
I'm Batman.
It is so good that we allowed it because how can we once we know that name exists, names are forever.
It has to be celebrated.
It has to be celebrated. I think it has to move on.
Ooh.
I think it has to, right? I'm going to give it a challenger.
Give it another superhero challenger.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go Kal-El.
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 Kal-El. I thought you were a nerd.
I'm going to go Kal-El Coppola Cage, the son of one Nicolas Cage, who at one point was going to play Superman. And so instead he named his son Superman.
Yes.
As Scott says, Kal-El is the name of Superman. I think it's Superman's dad.
No, that's
Like something LL?
I don't know. It's Cal something,
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Cal.
Cal.
Yeah, probably.
I've said this before. I hate Superman. I think
Yeah.
Superman's the worst
Yeah,
superhero.
Super boring.
Super boring. The most boring. Oh, one thing kills me.
But nothing else.
Yeah, but it's the one thing. All we gotta do is find the one thing.
Yeah, otherwise unstoppable.
Fucking stupid. Literally rewinding space like a fucking VHS tape. Just spinning the earth backwards. The worst. So we have a choice here, though. We've got Lesbo Batman. And I will say, I like that he kept Coppola because Nicolas Cage did not keep Coppola. Nicolas Cage's stage name is Nicolas Cage. His real name is Nicolas Coppola. But because he wanted to kind of, blaze his own trail. So I like that his son would say, well, I also like that because
I want Coppola and Cage. Let me pick.
Let me have both.
You're Nick. Whoa, okay.
Scott, let's
Lesbo Batman.
Lesbo Batman. I'm a Lesbo Batman man myself as well. Gabe?
Lesbo Batman.
Lesbo Batman it is. Okay. So that puts Dr. Marijuana Pepsi versus Lesbo Batman. That's a hell of a matchup. I believe I'm correct in that. We've only had 4 names so far, right?
Ugh, you're the worst kind of autistic.
You can't even count.
I'm not actually marking these down
Yes.
as we go, so that's going to be a problem.
I have 9 crossed off.
You have 9? How can you have 9?
I don't know.
I don't know if you know this or not, but they're going in
one
pairs.
I'm not tossing out.
They're going in
You
pairs.
can't even count.
So I'm pretty safe in feeling that I'm not wrong, at least in that I don't have 9.
I crossed it off before we started and then
Okay.
extended the name. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So next up, we have Scott and then I believe it's Scott versus Gabe.
Okay, I am going to throw out the basketball player. A million bugs.
A million bugs.
A million. First name, a million. Last name, bugs.
Could there be a worse combination? Like a million could be a lot of things. Like, a million coin. You know,
A million Pepsi.
Yeah.
a million Pepsi.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought it was $1 million. When I first heard $1 million, sure. But $1 million bugs, that's way worse.
Yeah, that's memorable. That is memorable for sure. Gabe, you're going to go up against that.
I'm going to put up Your Majesty Jackson.
That's a good one. Son of Jermaine Jackson.
Son of Jermaine Jackson of Jackson 5 and other fame.
Yes. Nephew to Michael Jackson. A million bugs versus Your Majesty Jackson. I'm going to go right out and say it. $1 million bugs. $1 million bugs a million times over.
It's a million bucks.
Yeah, I already crossed it off.
Yeah. Even though I really like Your Majesty as a name, and I'm so glad that there was a Your Majesty on our list.
It's no Your Majesty, or I think that was actually Your Majesty, Lumpkins.
Yeah, Your Majesty.
years ago.
Yep. All right. So next up, who's going here? Is it me? I think it is.
Sure.
I'll start it off. I went
Okay.
second last time.
Okay.
I'll go with Judge Russ Fagg.
The Honorable.
The Honorable Russ
Judge.
Fagg.
The Honorable Russ Fagg.
I think it's pronounced fag.
Well, double S, double G. Russ
It's hard.
Fagg. I don't know if the second G is silent. I don't know if it's long. I don't know what it does. Oh, that's a tough one though. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna throw it out just because I think it's a good matchup. We got the Honorable Judge, and I've got Senator Dusty Devers.
Ooh.
Oklahoma City State Senator, on his campaign stuff, pastor, fighter, businessman. In that order.
Introduced a bill to make it a felony with prison time to watch pornography in the state of Oklahoma.
To watch pornography. And is it just video form? Could you consume a magazine? Would you?
I
Could
imagine it was ill-defined.
Could you? Yeah. Can you draw your own? Two circles with dots in it.
yeah.
Straight to jail.
We got a bunch of kids getting arrested for drawn dicks. Dusty Devers. Man, yeah. I love that he's a senator. Senator
Dusty Devers.
Yeah, when we last heard about this guy, he was just running.
Yeah.
I never imagined he'd win, but then again, it is Oklahoma.
It is Oklahoma. I wonder if he did introduce the bill. We should look into whether or not he introduced the bill. However, in the voting purposes, Gabe, you are?
Ooh. I like the alliteration. I'm going with Dusty Devers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Yeah, I like a good fag.
I thought you were trying to lean away from it. I'm going to go the other way. We're swapping picks here, so Scott, you're going to have to pick this one because I love the idea that this man is a judge. It's not just that his name is Russ Fagg. It is that he is a judge, and therefore, much like myself, I am a mayor, and so therefore you must call me honorable. You must call Russ Fagg honorable.
Maybe he is.
Could be. He's got the name for it. Scott, you're picking.
Dusty Devers is more fun.
Okay, wow, you're throwing me for curveballs here. I almost shot myself.
But I think it'll be more fun to see what other people choose.
Yeah, we have
when we put Russ Fagg on the ballot
versus a million bugs. Okay,
I think we got to do that.
So the honorable
Mr. Fadge, is it?
Fudgy. I agree. I think Gabe was just trying to lean away from that one. I think he was just trying to save us from ourselves.
No, because I bet there's a lot of I bet Devers has provided a lot of content.
That's
yeah.
true.
For sure.
There's probably more to speak about
for
with
sure.
Dusty Devers.
Yeah. You can't be.
It's okay. We got the news next week. I'll pull something up on him for next week.
I'll drop a Devers hot fact every time you bring up Russ Fagg.
Yeah, and here's who we could be talking about.
We are down to the end here, my folks. Is it me? Am I the one that's up here? All right, I'm throwing it out. JaQuincy McKinstry.
JaQuincy McKinstry.
JaQuincy McKinstry. Mostly because there's no way I can possibly say that name, which makes it a good name.
Yes.
His nickname is Kool-Aid, which is also very cool. However, JaQuincy McKinstry is that's just a great name all around.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Love it. Yeah, right off the tongue. Especially if you're going to play sports and somebody has to announce your name. Scott?
JaQuincy McKinstry versus who?
It's up to you.
You pick it.
Oh, I guess we'll never know. Let's go with another football player. One Clemson wide receiver, Aju.
This is not fucking possible.
That's a good name.
Aju. I don't know if you know this or not, but Aju.
What did you say?
Aju.
Aju squared.
Yeah, Aju too. I just gotta say it. I like it when people are they're committed. Like, yeah, why would I name my kid anything other than Aju?
Yeah, Aju. Bogdanovich.
Ajuovic. All right, so the pick here, Gabe, over to you, I think. Or do you want to be the tiebreaker?
I'll go first on this one. We have Aju
Yep.
against
JaQuincy McKinstry.
I'm going to go with Aju.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one.
Yeah,
I think
me too.
Aju is the right answer. There's no way to not have that be the right answer. All right.
Now, if JaQuincy's real name was actually Kool-Aid.
That's a onesie.
Yeah. I will say this, though. This puts us down into the exact scenario we should be in.
That's very interesting.
The last two options on the table. Dick Cox or Dick Coffee.
We're getting a dick.
No matter what.
No matter what. Dick Cox, which is just a stiff name. That's a stiff name. Right to the point. Or Dick Coffee. Which, you want to talk about things that should be illegal? Dick Coffee should be high on your list.
Yeah.
High on your list, which I believe it is now in the state of Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, the Crunchy Scrunchy.
The Crunchy Scrunchy.
Yep.
Yeah.
We should get Senator Devers on this.
All right, should we do this? Who's voting for who?
It's Dick Coffee.
It's Dick Coffee.
It's Dick Coffee. It's not even a choice. The man's name is Dick Coffee.
He's an Alabama fan who went to like 756 games or something like that.
Consecutive. That's a lot.
I think we might have a hell of a list here, my friends.
I think so.
This is a battle. I think we've actually put forth a solid setup here. One, all these names are great. You know, we used to do, so it used to be 64 names. And then, so we went through that. It's just too much. And it's too much to continue to do it week after week. So this is a more concise version of this. However, these are all very good names. I think what happens when we do it this way is that we lose a few of these too fast. It would be nice to allow some of the audience to get a Bogdanovic. That would be nice. But look at what we've created here. Jizz Hornkamp versus Pilot Inspector Lee.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fucking matchup. Dr. Marijuana Pepsi versus Lesbo Batman.
Oh, yes.
That's a fucking matchup. That is a fucking matchup. A million bugs.
I just wrote marijuana versus Batman.
A million bugs versus Judge Russ Faji.
Oh, gnarly.
And Aju versus Dick Coffee.
Dick Aju.
So that's a hell of a matchup all around here. So what we'll do now is we will take these, we'll put them into consumable form. I think what's really nice is we've been doing those this or that's on Facebook. So this will work really well for that, I think. Obviously, we're not going to get as many votes as we get for doing two movies against each other.
You're not going to have 20,000 people passionate about Dick Coffey.
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. However, you're probably correct about that. But still, that's a good way of doing it. We can also put it on to YouTube. YouTube has a very easy way of doing polls. Same thing with Twitter, although we have almost no followers on Twitter.
Hey, we got a shout out today.
We did get a shout out. Oh, God. Should we talk about that real quick? I don't have it in front of me. Do you have it in front of you? So I love hate. I love it. It fuels me like nothing else. It really does. And the reason it fuels me like nothing else is because I like to feel things. I like it, whether it's good or bad. Excitement is exciting. And if we made you so angry that you come at us with hate,
you're yelling at Spotify on X about us.
Because a picture of our podcast showed up. So this person has posted at Spotify on Twitter and then tagged us and another podcast. Gabe, read off the tweet.
Mr. I think he's a Kiwi.
Okay, I saw that. Yep.
Alfred Lee said, "Hey, Spotify, do you understand the meaning of the term your shows? I have never subscribed to Chris Willick's garbage podcast or iKnowBadeaux' garbage either. Why the fuck are you showing these two still showing up in my library? Are you getting paid to forcibly get people to listen?"
So there's two things I love about that. One, we just showed up. It didn't start playing for him. A picture of our podcast showed up, and he had consumed enough of our podcast to know he don't like our podcast. We trash. We trash. And then he picked up his phone, I'm assuming, and typed at Spotify, and then made sure that he atted us to make sure we knew, hey, fuck you. I don't even want to look at your stupid fucking face.
You guys are a fucking bunch of losers.
That's awesome. That's how I woke up today. I woke up because I always, wake up and I check, how our video's doing. And I usually do Twitter last because we just don't have followers on Twitter. And it's actually the needle's moving now.
It's called X.
Okay, so X. The needle is moving a little bit. However, my X experience lately has been a lot of death. I somehow clicked on something at some point where it was like a video where it's like just like this person ends up dying and it doesn't show it, but it like shows like a car crash or something.
Yeah, don't start searching for Haiti.
Okay. My X experience has pretty much been nothing but that lately. So I don't go on X a lot because it's like, I don't know what happened to my algorithm, but it all fucked up. But when I clicked on that, I was like, oh, wow, we have 6 notifications? And it's just all people hating us, which I love. I actually get a huge kick out of it. So thank you to that dude. I did click on his stuff, and he's very pro-Palestinian, so I don't want to even get into any of that nonsense. But that's a decision.
What's the iKnowBadeaux' formal stance on this?
We have zero stance on all things. However, fuck you Kiwi. All right. So moving on from that nonsense, I just love the idea that on X you can actually do a poll. I wish Facebook would allow you to do that. I think it's a little weird that they don't. It's a very simple thing to do. Same thing, we can do it easily on YouTube. So check out YouTube, check out Facebook, check out. I don't think we'll do it on Instagram. It would be weird on Instagram, I think so. But check out most of our social medias. Get in there and get your vote. So again, Jizz Hornkamp versus Pilot Inspector Lee, Dr. Marijuana Pepsi Van Dyke, and we'll make that really small.
Yeah.
Versus Lesbo Batman, A Million Bugs versus Judge Russ Fag, Aju versus Dick Coffey. Gabe, who is your front runner?
I love A Million Bugs. That is such a cool name. Just imagine A Million Bugs.
What if he is just a million bugs? What if?
Like 3 kids in a trench coat, but it's just a million bugs.
It's just a million bugs. And not only is he just a million bugs, but they are good at sports.
They are highly coordinated bugs.
Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Gabe on that, but also there's a person on here whose name is Jizz. So,
Yeah, Jizz is my number one.
Jizz, and not just Jizz, but Jizz Horncamp.
Yeah.
Fucking hornball.
Well, so yeah, you were, because it's not just that you're horny. Like you went to the place where people are horny. You went to Horn Camp.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, you know what? Let's just name our kid Jizz. So there's a whole lot to unpackage there. Yep. But also, Dick Coffee is just Jizz Coffee too. So I'm up there on Aju. So I think almost any of these could be winners this year. Great group of names. And I'm excited to see what happens. So if you're out there, go check out our social medias, make your vote known. Each one of these will go from the day the podcast is released, which will be Thursday. And then, so actually I think we'll do Friday. We'll go Friday through Tuesday at 1:30. So that's a short window. Friday morning, this will go up in terms of the actual votes available. And then on Tuesday at 1:30, that will be the actual cutoff where we will make the decision or make the final announcements here. And that will be the end of this. We'll go on to the final four for it as well. So each week we will continue to move forward, and then eventually we're going to get to a winner. So I want to go ahead and move us forward. Scott, we'll be back for the news next week.
Yeah, I bet you I can find some relevant news, especially, well, I guess Dusty Devers is gone, so not quite so relevant. But I bet you if I type in Dick Coffee, I can find something.
Yeah, well, it's the internet. I know you can find something. I just don't know if you're going to like it. So,
I'm going to like it. I don't know if you're going to like it, but I'm going to like it.
Yeah, you suck so fucking bad. So we'll be back with that, and then moving forward, we need to make a decision as well. I've been thinking about this, and maybe we should ask. Let's put this out as a poll as well, maybe, or you can just send us a message or let us know in the comments section. Should we move forward in the 2000s now that we've got to 99, or should we jump back and do the beginning of the 80s? So I've been thinking about this, and I don't know which one's correct, because I think at some point the 80s are going to get fucked out. And do we go through the 2000s and then wrap back around after a year and finish out the 80s?
I think we give Scott the rest of his childhood.
Okay, let's give Scott his childhood. Okay, let's do it. So there's the decision right there. So we'll move forward with the 2000s. So you two start getting ready for that as well. So we'll get the Be Kind Rewind, the year, and then the movies. So shoot that stuff out to us as well, what you would like to hear. Or if these guys are wrong and you want the 80s, send that to me as well. And then I'll tell these guys they're wrong. But I do like that. I do like the 2000s. I think getting ahead of it, I think at some point that 2000 stuff becomes very nostalgic as well. We're heavily into the 90s right now.
I saw a tweet yesterday that said, if Bowling for Soup wrote the song 1985 today, it would be called 2005.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the same thing as
that 70s show.
No. So the Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, that's like 2005 now.
It would have been like the same as my kid's going back to 1993 last year, or 1994.
Sure.
So my kid right now, the age that he is, would be going back to 1994. That's fucking wild.
That's pretty weird.
That's wild. Speaking of Bowling for Soup, they put on some weight.
Are you surprised?
The big boys. They're bowling for cheeseburgers.
Clam chowder.
Coming from a dude that's
Bowling for chowder.
That's not a tiny individual either, though. But yeah, isn't that crazy though? How fast the world moves.
You're gonna say how fat they got.
No, that's not really
well on it.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I don't want to be that rude, but dude, they got big boys.
They came to town last year or 2 years ago with the Aquabats, and I really wanted to go see that show.
Here in town?
Not in town here, but to Minneapolis.
Okay.
And I actually got my kid interested in the Aquabats, and we almost went to see that show.
That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, I think it's weird that I don't know. I think that style of music, now that they're getting older, I was just today in the shower listening to 90s music, and it came up with Blink-182. Mm-hmm. And I think I talked about this before, where like Blink-182 was like on the edge of my listening. Like I liked Blink-182, but people really liked Blink-182. Mm-hmm. Same way with like 311. Like I liked 311, but like people really liked 311, and so it was kind of annoying.
Identities were created out of.
Yeah, and so it was annoying. Like you're too into this. People would probably say the same thing about Smashing Pumpkins and myself. But man, it's just such fun music, and I wish that music continued. Like right now, we still had more of that being made. But then you go back and you like look at these dudes, and it's like, yeah, all the punk dudes are 60 years old now. All these guys are hitting 50.
Yeah.
Those guys are all hitting 50.
Yeah. Mark Hoppus from Blink-182 dying of cancer.
Oh,
well, actually, I think he may have beaten it for now. But yeah, that was a big deal a year or two ago.
Huh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I hope he's doing all right. But it's just weird. It's such a weird thing that obviously time continues to move, but Bruce Willis is the one that, and not to get sappy at the end of our episode, but Bruce Willis is,
yeah, let's talk about all our heroes dying.
Bruce Willis is the one that's like crushing for me. It's like that guy was the shit. There he goes.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser got fat too.
Yeah, but Brendan Fraser like was also like high on my list of things I didn't like.
He hates Brendan Fraser.
Holy shit. Somebody had just said something about, because we did a Sugar Ray versus Smash Mouth, and somebody said something.
Smash Mouth smashed it.
Yeah, which is weird to me because, again, those are two really, really different albums from where those bands go, which is why I wanted to do that, because those albums are really good. Those bands turned into pop nonsense, Smash Mouth specifically. But also Sugar Ray has the song that is top 3 things I hate in life. I would also say Brendan Fraser is top 5 things I hate in life. Shut it the fuck down.
After Encino Man, I was committed to his career.
I loved Encino Man. After that, it was like jumping off a fucking cliff. Get this guy out of here. All right, we have bogged this episode down big time.
We're way out of lane here.
This will be fun because on YouTube we can actually watch when people drop off. So we will have a good understanding of how people just were like, you know what, I'm done with that content. Moving on. Fuck you, Spotify. I don't want this garbage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week with the news. Thank you to Scotty.
Yes.
Thank you to Gabe.
Thank you, Dave.
And thank you, of course, to myself, the Honorable Mayor Dave Badeaux. And with that, we're done.
Do you think Russ is short for Rusty?
Oh, God.
Would have been 2 years in a row. We would have had a rusty fag and a rusty cunt.
He has to be, right?
No.
Russell.
It could be Russell. Yeah, I bet it. Well, double S is probably Russell.
Yeah.
Would you, if you were Rusty, would you go single S?
No,
Russ?
that would look like Roos.
Yeah.
I don't think that looks like Roos. Does that look like
You
Roos?
can't read.
Yeah.
That's how you spell Reese.
It is
R
true.
Y S.
It is true that I can't read. So that does make sense that I would not know if that is or is not. But like a Roos. That's not Roos. This is Russ. You don't say Roos or you don't say Boos. It's B-U-S. Bus.
It's Russell.
It's Russell? Okay. Yeah, God, Rusty Fajee would have been fucking hilarious. I'm surprised, Gabe, because I'm surprised you didn't lean away because you were not on the Celinda ring at all. You were hard.
I don't want to make fun of people that will look me in the eye someday.
Make fun of people that can confront me about it.
So this is the second episode that has had the ending Ben. We talk about Celinda Ring. So hopefully we've lost all. Again, on YouTube, we could tell when people log off. The bonus content, Celinda Ring. We did not do Celinda Ring, mainly because I asked Callie. I was like, Callie, is this okay? And she said, if you email her or contact her first and find out, then yes. And that's when I was like, I ain't fucking doing that. What am I going to do? I have this podcast. Fucking
we find your name silly.
Dude
Your name's awesome. Can we make fun of it?
Dude from New Zealand thinks we're trash. Can we make fun of your name? But yeah, I don't know. I sorry to anybody that was excited about Celinda Ring. I think it's a great name. Maybe she'll make next year's if we're, comfortable with actually like getting to know her a little bit before we make fun of her name.
I'm not comfortable getting to know anybody.
I think we're all kind of in that game.
I have a friend.
Yeah. I don't have any, and I don't want any more.
And with that, we're done.